You guys see this thing right here? This is a camera, one of the cameras I'm going to be using for my podcast. And let me tell you something. These things are a pain in the butt. I am not a photographer, a picture taking guy, nothing like that. That's my little brother David. That's his expertise. But what I've been learning here lately is how, on top of how easily frustrated I can become with, trying to figure out how do you turn this thing on, is individuality. I'm going to start this podcast pretty soon, and here's a quick little rant, a little venting session for you. Just like when I first started writing a book, the year was like maybe 2004, 2005. Someone told me, hey, you're a writer, you need to write a book, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, yeah, whatever, I'm not a writer. Anyway, when I began to start writing, I was nervous because I wasn't a writer like Stephen King or John Grisham or anybody popular. And my stubbornness in measuring myself against other writers crippled me and kept me frozen, and I couldn't move, and I wouldn't start writing because I wasn't as good as him or her or them, or I wasn't going to be able to write polished prose. It took me a long time to start writing a book. I'm feeling the same way right now with this podcast. I don't know how to record or do this or do that. The best I can do is this little phone right here. But these things right here, and studio lighting and backdrops and effects, and oh my God. But in all of that, in all of my frustration and trying to get that down, I'm recalling what I learned when I was in prison. And that's what this whole quick clip video is all about. Just like I had to discover my voice as a writer and embrace it and own it and write with confidence because that's who I was, I'm having to revisit that same thing again as a podcaster. I don't know what in the world I'm doing with podcasting, but I know that the Lord is pushing me in this direction, and I have to revisit those fundamentals that I experienced in prison. Find my voice, own it, and work with what I have. 2 simple cameras, some lighting, a little bitty office that I have at home, but I have to own it. What about you? Are you stubbornly measuring yourself against other people? Are you stubbornly thinking that because you're not as good as, or you don't sound like, or you don't look like, that you don't get off your tush and start doing what you know you're supposed to be doing? Well, take it from me, don't do that anymore. Stop it. There's no need to be crippled in fear or insecurity, because when you think about it, those fears and those insecurities are nothing more, trust me, I know what I'm telling you, are nothing more than you measuring yourself up against other people. Who made them the standard? Nobody is the standard but Jesus Christ. And I promise you, He does not expect a perfect book from you, a perfect testimony from you, a perfect performance at work from you, a perfect video performance, a podcast, whatever it is you're trying to do. God doesn't want you to do it perfectly. He wants you to do it faithfully, using your voice, the skill sets and the gifts and the talents that He's given you. Own it. Walk with those things in confidence, because that's who you are. Not them, but you. You are you, exactly the way God made you. So own it, walk in it, and see what God does. God bless you guys. See you on the next one.